Hi students, I'm going to take you through a tour of Integrated Science 2. Welcome back for most of you. I'm not going to click on every single assignment, but I'm just going to take you around and give you some tips, but I still want you to click on everything, read everything, make sure you don't have any questions. So when you open the course, you first see what are called the pages, and I'll change the pages as we move through the units, but you can always see them by clicking this link over here. And the front page will be the one that's currently relevant, but you can always access any of the pages. These are essentially study assistance pages. They have different kinds of tools in here, notes I've written to students over the years, study plan ideas, etc. So let's go back here. So just some examples of what's on a typical study page, but our welcome page has some different stuff on it. So we'll start by looking at the scientific breakthroughs of 2015. This is just a fun warm-up activity. Now, this is the real important stuff. You've got to get a lab kit if you don't already have one. The lab kit information is in the syllabus. If you have any problems with that, let me know. And you need a textbook, which I assume you already have if you were in the first semester course. And I need you to really think about when you're going to work on this course. It takes a lot of time. There's not a lot of points associated with tests, so it's really effort-based more than achievement-based. And I'll show you some highlights from some updates from last semester, which I think you'll like. Okay, now notice over here that there's a tab for the syllabus. I will email you all the final syllabus after I set up the course. Of course, I find things that are just different from the syllabus I had to submit a couple of months ago. So use that, and this link will reflect that new syllabus. Also, I'll periodically write announcements about what's happening in a given week. I haven't written any announcements yet, but this is where, you'll find a little update on the schedule and just reminders that are important to keep in mind. In order to see these, you have to click on the announcements. Some instructors have the announcements set as the home page, but I like to have my pages as the home pages. Now, notice it says over here modules, and you don't see anywhere assignments. Once you enter modules, you can backtrack to assignments using this toolbar at the top, but like once you click into something, it might ask you, but don't go back to assignments because they're not organized according to the assignments. They're organized according to the modules, and somewhere up here on the student screen, you'll have the opportunity to view as modules if it's not already set up that way for you. So click in here, and the modules can be expanded or reduced. So in the first week, we'll review chapter 1, and we'll introduce ourselves again, get to know each other once again. Class starts on Monday, but assignments are due on Saturdays, so the first week is a little short. Then as we move into module 1, see it's the same week. The start here module and the module 1 are the same week, the first week. And we start really soft, just reviewing chapter 1, but I highly recommend you start reading and you get in there as soon as possible so that you can keep up throughout the semester. In module 2, we will cover only 2 chapters, but we have some labs. We'll start our lab work, and we'll start our discussions, our content discussions. The lab work still will come through the lab archive site, so you'll click here and then you'll sign yourself up into the course. So you'll have to click into here and then you'll refer to this document about how to sign up for your lab pack digital courseware. But essentially you click on the link, you offer your email, and that's that. Okay, don't just go straight to the lab archive site. That's something different, and that is the same platform but not lab pack specifically. Then you'll get a retrieval email and you'll activate your account, yada yada. This all is pretty quick. And then if you save your password in here on your browser, you won't have to worry about it again. Okay, so here's that assignments link I was talking about before. If you click on here to back up, then you end up going to a list that follows the due dates rather than the organization of the course. So I highly recommend that you use the modules. As we pass by a module, I will reorder them. So it'll just move to the bottom. It won't go away. If you're looking for something to study, it'll just be at the bottom. And then you'll notice that we no longer have quizzes, periodic quizzes. We have practice quizzes, and we'll take a midterm and a final. So if you want to do the practice quizzes, you just have to do them anytime before the midterm opens and anytime before the final opens. I didn't make a live link here because it is optional. So you're going to go over here and use the quizzes link if you want to do the practice quizzes. The practice quizzes are pulled from the same test banks that the midterm and the final are pulled from. And notice you have to do these ones before March 5th, and you have to do these ones before April 30th. Okay, we'll go back to modules. Moving right along, we'll go all the way up through module 4 before spring break. And we really have been encouraged to have spring break be completely a week off with nothing due. So I wanted to note to you here that the last week of module 4 is very light, and I have the midterm noted here in module 4 before the spring break occurs. But just in case you're the kind of person who likes to catch up during spring break and you got nowhere to go and kids, etc., etc., the midterm will actually stay open through spring break. So you could take it all the way up to the last day of midterm. Then we'll go through modules 5 and 6, and we'll finally get to our finals. So in this course, there's a mandatory paper and presentation and a final exam. No either or situation. That never works out very well, and I made a typo last semester, meant to take that out. So I'm sorry if you're dismayed, but you have to do both a paper and a exam. There's lots of detail in here that expresses it, and you have 2 weeks at the end of course to do this. And I want you to write the paper on something we've already talked about. So any of the discussion topics, any of the lab topics, they're all fair game. Don't strike out into a whole new area unless you're really interested about something we haven't talked about. Because this is supposed to be a revisitation of what you've learned so that you can really push it into your long-term memory rather than to really bog you down with some additional work at the end of the semester. This is my favorite course. We have some really fun activities to do this semester. We will have discussions just as we had before, some with some audio-visual components, and I've tried to loosen that up a little bit. So like, for example, you don't have to post to YouTube. You could use PowerPoint and add audio and then put that up anywhere on the web. That would be fine. I don't want to stress you out, but I definitely think that practicing with technology is important for your success. Now, a few final things I'd like to discuss. As you know, I'm not the kind of person who is really, really a stickler for deadlines. Don't fall behind for your own benefit. But as you all know, I take late work. I understand we're people, we have families, we have jobs, and almost no one in this class just goes to school with nothing else to do. So talk to me if you are having some family issue or you know that you have a big deadline at work. Just talk to me. I'm a really compassionate human being, but I don't like it when you scramble after the deadline and ask for my forgiveness. So communicate with me. The last thing I'll discuss about that is that we'll use this inbox in Canvas for communication. So once class opens, you don't have to use your CMC email, just talk to me in Canvas, and I go into here much more often than I do into my CMC email because I care more about you than the silly administrative announcements I get in my email. What else can I say? You are welcome to call me or text me if you are working and you have limited time and you need an answer right now. Go ahead, text me. I'm fine with that. Don't ask me really complicated things via text because I teach a lot of classes and I probably don't know the answer right off the top of my head. That is all. I hope that we have a great semester and I look forward to working with you. Thanks.